Okay, welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. So, real quick, I got a little bit of just an instinct, intuitive nudge, if you want to call it that. So the fear love narrative, we get that pretty confused because there's so many trauma narratives running, in our lives through, work, religion, uh, you know, down to grocery shopping at this point. So the fear of love, right? The fear of the love. So when we're dealing with the coping mechanisms of life, and we can comprehend that a lot of times these systematic things that we are engaging with every single day have a very real purpose, and a lot of times that purpose has nothing to do with our own best interest, has nothing to do with our own best interests, but it has a lot to do with control, coercive manipulation, and trauma bonding, especially when it comes to like religious narratives or anything that needs to keep us hooked. Because social media too, I mean, you get all these like fear porn sites out with no intention of getting you out of the fear and safe in your body. No intention of that at all. So when we have these constant options of fear or love, we start to begin to assess that there's a particular narrative that we're running based on previous whatever it is, right? So it becomes habitual, becomes reliable, it becomes home base, if you will, quote unquote, home base. It feels like home, so we're going to redo it. We're going to redo it again. And when we do that from a subconscious level of not assessing the fear or the love in any situation, really, you're going to have a painful repeat of the past. So rather than say, I am scanning for the trauma, I'm scanning for the threat, I'm scanning for the blah, 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 I'm looking at the choices dead in front of my face. Okay, well, that was not a very good. Anyway, I'm looking at the choices right in front of my face, and I am asking, am I choosing this from a space of fear, or am I choosing this from a space of love? And how can I tell? How can I tell that I'm like, in fear versus in love? And that's how you feel in your body. Are you breathing deeply? Are you feeling calm? Is your system at ease? Or are you choosing something from a, hey, I remember this. Ooh, get it, 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 get it. Sometimes we confuse excitement and fear because we're excited because it feels like home. So we're going to go get the thing. And then that thing ends up being not so great again because all we were chasing was that familiar sensation, feeling, whatever it is in our body. So being really mindful of how that keeps playing forward, how everything starts to kind of come into perspective of like, okay, I see how that got off track. I see how that pulled on my temptation to step back into what felt like home and then self-sabotage, because we are so wired to do that. We're so wired to do that, and that the system banks off of that every single time. So rather than saying, how can I put up better boundaries? How can I say to myself, like, I'm never going to do that again. If somebody takes my boundary, I'm going to tell them the fours of the whats. It's a choose the fear or you choose the love. you assess the situation. Have I done this before? Does this feel really familiar in my body? Is that why I'm excited right now? And like my neck is like you're all stiff and you're like tense, or you're like looking for the next exit, or you've got your fist clenched, but your automatic response is still choosing the same freaking thing over again. You're still choosing to step into a role that you would love nothing more than to get yourself out of. But your automatic response is, yeah, sure. So, and I hope this helps, like during the holiday season, like everybody's getting together for family functions, making memories and whatever else. Am I choosing this from fear, or am I choosing this from love? Do I know that I can go have a good time, safe in my body, blah, 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 blah? How about that? Assess to that situation instead of running the same narrative over in your mind again. And the other thing too is like maybe you can go to that space and be perfectly fine. But there's going to be maybe a family member that makes you feel obligated to do XYZ for them over the holidays. It could be anything. Maybe like, your aunt and your mom always get together and do like present wrapping until like 3 a.m. in the morning or whatever it is. Whatever it is that's going to, send you over your limit, just reassess the situation and say, am I choosing this out of obligation? Am I choosing this out of pattern repeat? Is this a tradition? Is this me feeling crunched and pressured to step into a role? Is this me feeling like I'm of service when I'm actually self-sabotaging or self-betraying or putting myself back into a role that I would love nothing more than to get out of? Whatever it is. Am I choosing from a space of fear, or am I choosing from a space of love? And assess how those things feel in your body. So before you even get out into the world, into a situation, how does love feel in your body? Genuine love. If you haven't experienced that, I hear you. I feel you. It's going to be okay. Don't panic. It's coming. So if you just keep your integral stuff intact, it'll come. It'll come. It'll come. I pinky fucking swear it comes. And I know it's a bitch of a weight. And I come to you saying that with the utmost honesty. It is a bitch of a weight. And I am not here poo-pooing it. I'm not here to tell you to suffer through it. I'm here to tell you that it's worth it. Okay? So don't feel disheartened. Don't feel like the world has abandoned you and that, well, whatever the narrative is running in your mind, okay? Because that's part of the agenda on the planet. It's not just you. You're not just the only target. We've got 3 major religions on the planet that believe everybody here is an abomination and shouldn't be here. And that's the goal, to get everybody off the planet, so to speak. So if you don't believe me, you can go read their books. They all say the same freaking thing when it comes to that. We got here through sin. We're evil creatures. Like, God made an oops and we all need to, take our place on the holy mantle of slicery in order to, appease the thing with the thing. Anyway, and so, and again, that could be the thing, you're trying to get out of as well. And that's, you're like, I don't want everybody I meet to believe that we should all be effed off the planet. But I don't want everybody to believe that, because I don't believe that. I'm not going to spread that narrative. I'm not going to subconsciously tell every single solitary person I meet, especially minorities and women, that That's, and that's what we don't seem to be willing to witness and acknowledge when it comes to the subconscious undercurrent, is those people who believe that are subconsciously putting that out into society. It's a very real thing, and it just needs to be brought to light so we don't have to keep doing this over and over again for ourselves. And so, the people who actually do want to be out in the communities, loving, supporting, helping, and actually making the world a better place rather than, subconsciously telling everybody, you just, those people can have their choices, right? There's something to be learned from somebody who believes that about your existence. There's something to learn there. It forces you to go inside and find your own light, whatever. Okay, which is gonna piss them off even more. I'm sorry, the beauty and irony of that is just glorious for me. Anyway, so just remember that when these choices, these options, and whatnot come up, the the most important person in the equation is you, because you're going to be the one looking yourself in the mirror in the morning. You're going to be the one laying down with yourself at night. You have to live in your own skin. Nobody else is living in your skin. And that's another really weird thing humans like to do, is pretend like they're living in somebody else's skin. And then they call it empathy. It's like, no, you're going to do what I say because that's what's best for you. No, I know what's best for me, and you can know what's best for you. And we can have ideas and suggestions upon request of what's best for us. But at the end of the day, each person has to choose for themselves. And putting out this radical narrative that, like, nobody should be here because we're all Scarface, Sky Daddy, Upa Bays is not a way to function in the world. And it does need to, be put in its place. Like, you can believe that about yourself and your homeboys, but for the rest of us, no. That's not how that works. That's not how that's ever worked. That's not how that will ever work. And they will actively seek the manifestation of those core beliefs. They will actively seek it, and they will actively deny it to your face. Abso-freaking-lutely. Even with all the evidence. Even with the numbers and the body counts and the procedures and the behaviors, and they will actively deny it because their subconscious undercurrent just, been hijacked and they can't look at it. So, but that's none of your business. That's none of your concern. Right? Right. So, choosing between love and fear. And fear, I think, like, hatred is just fear set on fire. That's what hatred is. To me, anyway. I mean, it could be different for other people. They could experience it differently. But for me, hatred is fear set on fire. And a lot of people confuse that with justice too. Hatred, it gets confused with justice. When women demand equal rights, when women are like, yeah, if you could stop being so what's the right word? Not necessarily unjust, but it is unjust. If you could stop being so spiteful and harmful to women, minorities, and children, that'd be great. A lot of people see that as hatred, which is confusing. And it's understanding. We get those things confused, but there's fear, and then there's love. And if you can start to memorize how those energies feel inside your body, memorize the energetic pattern that's produced when you ask those energies to reside inside your skin. And literally, your body will tell you, okay, well, when we're in fear, we tense this way, we tense there, we tense that. You know, you could get a headache, you could get a stiff neck, you could, some people like cower and get shrunken and just want to like disappear. It could feel any. I'm not telling you how it's supposed to feel in your body. I'm just saying, like, a lot of times the fear will rest in tension. And that sounds counterintuitive, I guess you could say, but the fear rests in tense areas of the body. So you're going to look for those tight spaces of where you're feeling that tense energy. And that's where fear likes to rest, is inflammation and tension. So, if you know anything about inflammation, it's the number one indicator of disease in the body. So remember that the next time you feel like choosing fear instead of love. And then take a few minutes and maybe put your hands over your heart, take a couple deep breaths, and go, I invoke love. I want love to enter here, and I want love to stay here, and I want love to reside here, and I want love to exist here. And then breathe into it. And how does that feel? How does your body feel after that? Notice that, remember that, memorize that, program yourself for that. So many people are like, you need to have better boundaries, you need to say no, you need to do this, you need to do that, blah, 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 blah. But I'm telling you that if you can get a hold of your intimate interactions with your central nervous system, you're not going to have to be in such a brutal state trying to fight for your very existence. Somebody else's, I don't know, pleading for somebody else's recognition of your right to exist here as a sovereign human being. We make it out to be so freaking dramatic and horrible, and it's just like, just take a couple deep breaths and be like, look, dude, we're not playing that game again. We're not doing this again. My system can't take it, your system can't take it. All finished. It doesn't need to be so horribly traumatic anymore. It just needs to be stated outright, like, we're finished with that. It's okay. And yeah, they're gonna get pissy. That's their freaking problem. But again, if you've got love sitting inside of you, you're just gonna be like, alright, you roll with your own punches then. Because I'm over here not having it. Okay? You look at the trauma invite and you say, you know what? Not today. Probably not tomorrow. Or the day after. You know what? I'm booked for the rest of my life. When it comes to trauma, I'm just booked, just plumb booked out for all those trauma invites. So that's just not going to be allowed on my calendar. And that's, a choice everybody's allowed to make, and it's a beautiful choice. It's a fantastical choice. I highly recommend you memorize how love feels in the body, and that's your best boundary. That's your best bet on living a fulfilled life. Pinky frickin' swear. Just feel how love resides underneath your skin. And then see how hard you have to work to come up with some weird script while you're in a tense little ball of like, oh my god, they might kill me. So the F what? Right? Okay. I think that's it. I think that took care of my intuitive nudge. Pretty sure. Uploading, I guess, has been really weird today, so I think we have till the 19th till Mercury shadow period is over. What else? Oh, yeah. Like, if you go back and watch the December 8th video, so you get a little buffer for Monday, please. Little buffer for Monday. Come be dozy. I think that's it. I think that's pretty quiet. Bun buns. Sorry, I've had a little bunny there on and off all night while I've been making my manuscripts for my classes. Those are sweet. Okay. Yeah. It comes slowly. Okay. I think that's, yeah. I feel like that's it. Okay. All right. I'm pretty sure that's it. That's all. I can't make any promises for tomorrow, but I'll see what comes and if I have time, and yeah. I don't. Okay. A few cards. All right, here we go. I was like, something is. Sometimes it takes a little while. That's a lot. Okay. The forest. And sometimes like there's a little triangle fella in there. Seeing the forest for the trees. And then the mirror. And then I love how they put the moon up there too. We just had a full moon in Gemini. So like that duality of the fear and the love. Feeling that duality of existing. The box. Nope, the mystic. Because I was at the bottom of the deck when I pulled it out. And I was like, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be drawn to this. But if it's supposed to come out, it will. Here it is. You know, it's so... So like looks like a butterfly, but like somehow in the candlelight it almost turns into something else entirely. Interesting. Huh. Okay. And then vision. Maybe writing down like, you know, a new narrative for your life. Or writing down everything you want to get rid of. Maybe crying it out. Tears are alchemy, by the way. So it's shifting the water inside your body when you release what needs to be let go of. They've done like I think they've taken the tears and like done studies on them, and so that there are certain geometrical patterns that are within it. The shaman. The stone. Boop boop. Alchemy, the great work. This is a symbol for the great work. Mm-hmm. The heart. The heart is the alchemical base, by the way, for the body, which in turn everything else. The vow. Ooh, choose a commitment. Commit to something, maybe yourself. your freedom from the trauma, whatever it is for you. Commit to something. Ugh, the river. Okay. And that's got a reflection of a horse in it. A bardo. This is cool. I like doing them by candlelight. Okay. So there's like so much. Let me see if I can. Let me see. First of all, because sometimes these like to form like little clusters. Alright. Oh, we gotta get the one on the bottom. Oh, the self. There it is. Tap on that heart space. The thalamus. The sun thalamus. Thalamus sun. I'm not sure how which order it goes in. I just did the Leo class, so we did a little tap 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 on it. Okay. I'm getting the song "The River" by and you left the river for a while. Cheese and rice. What is her name? Aurora. Yes. Like, come on, babe. Okay. So the river is right above Tyr in the arrangement, and Vows at the center, the forest is at the center. Interesting. The mirror and the mystic are on opposite sides. The heart and the stone. There's the alchemy lining up the self and the box. And the vision and the bardo. And the shaman is at the top. I mean, I know it's winter time in the northern hemisphere, so like self-reflection is huge right now. And I mean that like really what's coming through, and like there's a bird, and then on the other side there's the forest. So like getting that higher perspective, so you can kind of function on that macro micro level where that alchemy can really happen from a deep state of comprehension. And with the river here, I want to say flow, so get into that alignment, so flowing is more part of your everyday existence, not just a ooh, I have an important meeting, or I'm giving a class, or I'm giving a speech, or I have this task to accomplish, a project to start, blah blah blah, whatever the heck it is, right? Staying in flow no matter what you're doing. Staying in the flow. And it doesn't mean constantly staying busy. That hustle culture is literally a death trap. It's staying in flow, understanding and listening, not understanding, comprehending all of the beautiful, wonderful things that your existence needs to stay in flow state. So maybe you're like, I just completed this. Maybe I should go get a drink of water, or a drink of tea, or a drink of coffee, or whatever the heck it is, right? Or you know what? That really took a lot out of me. I need to go rest. You need to go sit down and maybe, get into a yummy book for a little bit and maybe drift off and rejuvenate. And or I need some intuitive nudges. So I'm going to now like step into dream time to get those intuitive nudges. Or I need to bring this sensation all the way to the center of my heart so I can alchemize it, so I can move it through my body, through my system. And sometimes that is like while you're processing that thought, feeling, emotion, or whatever it is, you are getting your body into a state where your heart rhythm is moving, or you're tapping on your chest, right? Or you're, doing the wave with your arms, or doing that like that qigong move where you're like moving like a windmill, something to that effect. Because there's a vision that wants to come in, and you got to get in the flow. That's what it's telling me. There's a vision, and you're in a small, teeny, tiny little box right now, and you got to bust out of it. And the way through is in the heart space. But like I think it might be like a mystical shaman vision, because you've got mystic at the bottom and shaman at the top. That's a lot of freaking like whoever I'm talking to right now. This healer's your gig. And it could show up in many different forms. It doesn't have to show up how I'm showing up. It doesn't have to be tarot reader. It doesn't have to be, whatever it is, subconscious undercurrent expert, whatever. Alchemist. It could be maybe you do have a professional career, and you see patients at a clinic every day. Or, you take people out into the forest and you're like, okay, time to scream your bloody guts out. Maybe that's what you do. Who the heck knows? Maybe you take people down the river on a little tour guide thing. Maybe that's your form of medicine. Maybe you play an instrument. Maybe you're in a band or whatever it is. That's healing. Magician or musicians, Freudian slip, magician, musician, they are probably the most powerful alchemists on the planet, because they take all that pain and all those emotions and like harness it and flow it through a machine that makes noise. That's pretty freaking cool. So it could be any number of things for you. Either way, have fun exploring. Until next time, keep your flame.